Nintendo's financials came out recently, and while sales and revenue are down for the Nintendo Switch overall, because surprise, no Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom coming this year, I do feel that there's pretty crazy things that are happening overall, and Nintendo is going to pass one of the best selling systems of all time, probably within the next year or so. But before we get into that and so much more, what's good everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you are someone new. Click that notification bell to get my videos as soon as they drop. Now let's go ahead and jump right into it here. We're going to start off with this pretty crazy feat from the Nintendo Switch recently. We heard about the sales numbers. We know that the Nintendo Switch is now at 143.22 million worldwide. Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, another new million selling game, 1.76 million in its debut. Luigi's Mansion 2, another 1 million selling plus game, 1.19 million in its debut sales. So pretty good across the board for both Luigi's Mansion 2 HD and Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. Now let's get into this crazy thing that I wanted to talk about because it ties into what I said before with all the million selling titles. If you look at it, Nintendo's the only system ever that will be able to cross 71 million plus selling first party games on a singular platform. That's pretty much never happened. Heck, I think even before then in the 60s, it's at 69 right now at this point. That's also never happened. Now by the end of the year, it will have over 71 million plus selling first party titles because The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Super Mario Party Jamboree, and Mario and Luigi Brothership, all of those are going to be million plus selling titles as well. So we're going to see probably 72 million plus selling first party games by the end of the year, which is just something crazy. Now, I'm not going to go over all of the titles here, but I will put up the list in two parts. It's not always all updated. So if you see this list around like on Twitter or Reddit or other places, just know if you look all the way to the right, you'll see as of, and it'll say Q2 2024, Q1, Q2, Q4. It'll have different ones all kind of lined up there because Nintendo only updates for the million selling plus games in that quarter. Afterwards, they don't until there's like a third-party rating board that actually goes over the updated sales numbers that Nintendo will submit. But once again, we don't get that until later in the year, and it maybe updates it for like 6 months or a year or something like that. We don't always get it completely up to date, but this right here is very impressive. Pretty much every single first party game Nintendo has put out is a million seller, with a few exceptions. There's like another code, I think, like Advance Wars. There is like Everybody 1-2 Switch, probably that game. There's probably a few more that I don't quite remember, but overall, most games, most first party titles on the Nintendo Switch hit a million. It's pretty much guaranteed at this point to hit a million if it's a first party published Nintendo title. But I think that the craziest thing for me, at least, to see on here is to see so much variety with different styles and different types of games between remasters, remakes, Fire Emblem, Xenoblade, Paper Mario, Pokemon. Like, you got all sorts of stuff. Obviously, you got the Mario, you got the Zeldas, you got all the standard stuff, but it's pretty cool to see stuff like Bayonetta, for example, be on here, be a staple, Astral Chain. We haven't gotten updated numbers for those, but I do like to see that Platinum Games titles are actually million plus selling games on there, and they didn't have to discount all the way to $20 like on the Xbox 360 and PS3 to hit 1 million plus units. It actually can sell at that price and get 1 million, so revenue is good on there for those games. And I think that we're going to continue to see Platinum Games titles on the Nintendo Switch too. So overall, very happy with the results here. I think that I want to get, like, if I had to pick out a game here, I want to see what they do. Fire Emblem Three Houses, I know that game definitely got a little bit of a bump from just various different things that happened. People wanted to get into it after Fire Emblem Engage came out and other things like that. That has not been updated since Q4 2022, and the sales of that game were at 4.1 million plus units. So I'm pretty sure that's probably went up quite a bit too. So I would love to see a lot of these games, especially some of these lower ones that had a little bit of graphics and frame rate stuff here and there. If those can get Nintendo Switch 2 updates, I think that would be so good and help just extend the life of some of these games. But I do think that this big million-plus selling list of first-party titles is exactly the reason why the Nintendo Switch will be around even after the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out. Now, and I do think that there will be backwards compatibility and updates and ports and all sorts of different stuff like that. I think that's happening, but I do feel that many people are going to be like, okay, if there's an attractive Nintendo Switch package for a good price, so if Nintendo drops the price on the Nintendo Switch and you can get like a couple games and you can get the Nintendo Switch for like, let's just say $199 for like a Switch V2 with a couple games, I think that's going to be very attractive for new gamers, very attractive for people just to gift, and also people that just want an extra one in the house, even with the Nintendo Switch 2 out. That was the reason why the PlayStation 2 did so well. Some people like to say, oh, well, it's just because of the DVD player. Not exactly, because by 2007, 2008, DVD players were super cheap. You can find them everywhere. They were built into TVs. That wasn't necessarily the thing. The thing that really boosted the PS2 to extra and new heights on top of the DVD player, but the big thing was the bundles. Sony kept on supporting the system with attractive bundles. They kept on pushing it. They kept on talking about it. There'd be E3s well after the PlayStation 2 was done, even into the PS3 era, and they were talking about bundles for the PlayStation 2. But the back catalog of games was the biggest thing. Back catalog, great bundles, and marketing push. There was still a marketing push. So if Nintendo can do something like that, they can absolutely sell 3 million, 4 million Nintendo Switch systems a year, even after the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, and just gradually chip away till they get to 160 million, in my humble opinion. It's about how it's pushed, the marketing, and the price. Those are going to be the factors in terms of how the Nintendo Switch catches the PlayStation 2. But speaking of catching another big system, did you guys know that the Nintendo Switch is closing in? It's chasing down the Nintendo DS. The gap between the two systems is now only 8.1 million units. That is down from 16.89 million units from a year ago. Now, Nintendo does expect the Switch to beat out the DS by March 2025. Shoutouts to Pierre 485 with that information there. And I think that the biggest thing that we saw here from last year to this year, obviously Nintendo had some pretty big hitters in 2023 between Super Mario Bros. Wonder, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Pikmin 4 did well for them, and a variety of other little and smaller software titles surrounding that. Fire Emblem Engage was also a good title for them. So they had some pretty good momentum. So that's why they chopped that lead in half. And yeah, we're going to have Echoes of Wisdom coming out, Super Mario Party Jamboree. You also have Mario and Luigi coming out. You've got Pokemon Legends ZA, which is definitely going to boost things up. And you've got that Nintendo Switch Lite, the Legend of Zelda version that's coming out too. So yeah, I absolutely expect them to sell 8 million units minimum from now at this point to March of next year. That's definitely going to happen, with probably the biggest boost coming at the end of the year. Maybe they sell 4 million, 3 million units for the holiday season. So I definitely think that's happening. But Nintendo's moving on to the next system, guys. It's the 8th calendar year from the system's launch. Things are going to wind down a bit as the developers move on to the next thing, but that doesn't mean that the system's going to be completely dead afterwards. I think that there's still going to be some games, and Nintendo's still going to release NSO updates, and there's still probably going to be some smaller titles that come out for it, and it's going to chip away at it, because it's still a significant way that they can actually raise revenues. So I absolutely see the Nintendo Switch being around even after Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, but they're not looking at this and then saying, okay, we need to press the Switch 2 button right now and launch it next week, or launch it within the next month. They already have a target window for it, and when they're ready to announce their plans, they're going to announce it on schedule, set, when they have enough systems and when everything's going to be relevant. So just relax, guys. Calm down on that one. But what do you guys think about all of that when it comes to the sales here and what's going on? You can let me know in the comment section. But we are going to move on to a brand new game announcement. This one's published by Bandai Namco. We've got Fate Extra Record. Fate Extra Record will launch for the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam in 2025. Publisher Bandai Namco and developers Type Moon and Type Moon Studio BB announced. Now here's an overview of the game. I haven't played one of these games since I think there was one on the Nintendo Switch that was kind of like a Dynasty Warriors game, but I stopped playing it after they started claiming the videos and gameplay, and I'm like, you guys got to be kidding me. This is a niche game and you guys are claiming it. I'm out. So I haven't played any of the other Fate games since then. The Moon Holy Grail War begins anew. The setting is a Spiritron virtual world called SERAPH, built on the moon. Masters of the Servants team up and fight for survival in pursuit of the Holy Grail, an omnipotent wish-granting device, like the Dragon Balls, in the Moon of Holy Grail War, which begins once again. This is a remake of Fate Extra, the first Fate series RPG originally released on July 22, 2010, now revamped for modern hardware with an expanded scenario, refreshed character graphics, and dramatic command battles utilizing a highly strategic deck building system. Master and Servant, 128 of the world's top hackers, each capable of transforming their soul into spiritrons, are selected as masters to participate in the Holy Grail War. The servants they form contracts with are the souls of legendary heroes and eminent figures from history whose true names are concealed. These servants are materialized in spiritron life forms and are assigned to one of the 7 classes such as Saber or Archer. Through their shared struggle where they entrust their souls to one another, their past and hidden desires intersect. So this is pretty crazy, a remake of the first game, which I didn't even know that it was. I was watching the trailer, I'm like, okay, this looks pretty cool. I'm not up to date on all of my Fate lore and all of that, but we're learning as we go along here. So this actually looks pretty cool. I am just a little bit skeptical when it comes to the deck building stuff. I mean, there are some great deck building games. I'm not the biggest on them. I did play Baten Kaitos, for example. That's pretty good. So I think that this has a chance too. The graphics and everything look pretty good. The sound quality, things look pretty solid so far for this game, for Fate Extra. So we'll see how it works here. They're remaking it so they can only make it better from where it was. I mean, the game came out back in 2010, so 14 years ago. Most people probably forgot about this game, you know, so it's pretty cool that they're bringing it back with a fresh coat of paint and updates, quality of life features, all of that. And it looks good from what I've seen here. So what do you guys think about Fate Extra Recore launching sometime in 2025? Let me know in the comment section. But now we're going to move on to the final topic here, guys, and we're going to just discuss the US MPD charts 2024 for June. And while the PS5 best-selling console, Switch was number 2, Xbox Series number 3, it's pretty much been that order for quite some time. I do want to talk just briefly about one game that made the list that people were talking about in the Megaten community, and that is Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, in at number 4. So people are saying, oh wow, look at that, it's in at number 4. And you know what, not trying to burst anybody's bubble, I think number 4 is great, but Atlas already gave us a sales update. They stated that the game sold 500,000 units within that first number of days when it came out in June. So we know the sales numbers. It's right around 500,000 units plus or so because the game came out mid-June. So that's pretty good. It's okay. It's not necessarily the greatest in the world, but it doesn't have to be. It's SMT. SMT is not the massive selling franchise, but we know that the game total, if you combine it with SMT5 base, it's at 1.6 million units plus at this point. And obviously there was some sales recently with the game, so I think that probably spiked things up to at least minimum 1.8 million, or maybe even teetering on 2 million units. So we'll see if we get an update on there for total overall sales, because Atlas combined the sales of SMT5 Base and SMT5 Vengeance, but SMT5 Vengeance is being counted singular by itself on here. So I do feel that it's a good start for the franchise. This is obviously the most popular SMT has ever been in the history of SMT, and I think that it's going to build upon it to probably the next Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PC. I mean, we'll see what else we get from this, but it's definitely good to see a SMT game at the top of the boards. And yes, once again, we know the sales already. We know how much it did because Atlas at least did give us that first start. But you usually don't see SMT games ever on top sales boards in the US or in the West. Japan, you'll definitely see that, but definitely not here too much. When SMT5 first came out, I definitely think that it did get on the boards. I don't know if it got as high. I'll double check on that one. But yeah, I think that this is awesome. I think it's awesome. The Switch kind of revitalized SMT overall between the different copies. If you look at like SMT3 Nocturne, then SMT5, now SMT5 Vengeance, I think that it's done pretty good on the Switch overall, but also multi-platform down at this point too. So what do you guys think overall when it comes to SMT and Nintendo Switch, and of course the Fate game that was announced from Bandai Namco, let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch and RPG videos right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.